Thank you, Collard. Wow, what an incredible evening. Can we get another round of applause for everyone who's just come up? Yeah. Super inspiring people, super inspiring stories. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed in the sense that I feel privileged and honored to be here with you guys tonight. So thank you for allowing me into this space. And for those who don't know me, my name's Jason. And a little bit like me, this talk's going to be pretty different. So what do? I wake up every morning and I do the thing that I love doing. I get to make film. Like Collard so eloquently put, I'm the creative director of Activate.Film. And we do something pretty cool at Activate, and it's a studio that I've helped foster over the last few years. We only work with communities, campaigns, and organizations that are doing social and environmental good. So feel pretty stoked to be doing that. But it wasn't always like that. It's been a long journey. And when you have these long journeys, you start asking yourself funny questions like, why? What am I doing? Why do I love film? Why am I the way that I am? That one at the end was a little bit too deep for me, so I just stuck with why I like doing film. And it turns out that I've got a lot of commonalities, common traits with film. It sounds a bit weird, but film is just basically storytelling. And we tell stories to get people to understand things from a different perspective. We like to shine a light on things and give people a different viewpoint. And I realized that that's just what I do. I tell really shit stories and I try and make a difference. And the thing that I'm trying to make a difference with is obviously disability. And it's funny when you hear that word, if you haven't heard it in a while. It kind of like sticks in your ear. You're like, oh, disability. What is that? What does that mean? What are we doing with this thing? It's this large amorphous space. It's a bit difficult to interact with. But luckily enough, I've obviously got a lived experience of disability. I was born with one hand, and funnily enough, I still have just one hand. And for me, that's normal, for lack of a better word. And a question that I ask myself now, in pretty much every single piece of work I do, whether that's environmental or community building or anything like that, is what would it look like if disability was a positive thing? Why is disability a negative thing? What would a world look like if having a disability was actually an advantage instead of a disadvantage? How might that world feel? Feels pretty cool, right? Right. And it's actually not too far away. It's definitely a possibility, and we're working towards it, and it makes a lot of sense, having an advantage instead of having a disability. Because people in the disability community are hugely resilient. They're massive problem solvers. We solve problems every single day. And we bring in like this unique viewpoint to the conversation. And we kind of wrap that all up, and we have this like bundle of empathy. And what does that make? It makes someone with a pretty big advantage. It makes someone who's a problem solver. And it makes someone who is ready to solve these problems now. And that's what we need in this world. We need more problem solvers. We need more change makers. Like Collard introduced us in the beginning of the evening, we have so many problems that we're working on. Like more than ever before, it's ridiculous. Let's not name them. They're there. We need a community to help solve these problems. Is there kind of something going on here with the disability community, ready to solve problems, ready to have their voice heard? I think so. I think that when we're working with a minority group, it's really important to get people's voices heard, to get them in the rooms where the decisions are made, to get them in the rooms where we're solving our own problems. So with that in mind, we kind of start thinking about representation. Sure, maybe it's an advantage to be disabled in some far-off land that isn't quite here yet. But what does that mean right now? How do we represent ourselves now as a community? Well, the community of disabilities, we make up about, give or take, 1/4 of Aotearoa, which is a pretty big minority. It's 1/4 of the country. How many representation of our community do we have in Parliament? How many people with lived experience of disability? 1. Mojo Mathers, awesome work. Such an inspiration, what an amazing human. But we need more. We need more Mojo in Parliament. So a bunch of us have got together and we've come up with this campaign called Not Out on the Harbour. And it's in reference to a tweet that was done by the Minister of Disabilities, actually, during a meeting where she was talking about empowerment of disability and human rights. She tweeted saying that she'd rather be out on the harbour. It's a little bit weird, but we took that position to say, hey, we're not going to be left out on the hub of this election. We're going to come and we're going to raise our voices. So that's what we're doing. We've started this little social media campaign. Check us out on the hub.co.nz. We're going to be doing a release during the election. It's going to be super groovy. A lot of cool campaigns on the side. Please be an ally. Do join us. And think of a world where disability is an advantage. And maybe we'll have a little bit more of a sexy world. I don't know. It could happen.
Thank you, my friend.